Hey everyone, and welcome back to the news where, you know what, it is Blizzard time again, and a bunch of things have happened. Most notably, there is the honestly insane rumor that Overwatch 2, in fact, has been delayed. That it will be a 2023 game, which is kind of mind-blowing. Now, to start it off, though, we've got Metro Overwatch, right? Now, Metro is an Overwatch community figure who accurately predicted the 2019 BlizzCon announcement of Overwatch 2. Now, it's the sort of thing with leakers, you know, often they're right, sometimes they're not. It is what it is. Plans change. You can be a leaker and have a source, and that source can totally believe what they're saying, and you know, what the source says is actually true. Just, you know, it was true a few weeks ago and plans have changed. So do take this with some salt, but according to Metro, well, here's just the tweet. I've heard from multiple sources close to my original source with Overwatch 2 that development is taking longer than expected. From what I can gather, a release in 2022 does not seem likely anymore. I hope this is false and I'm proven wrong. That being said, if it turns out to be true, rip Overwatch, no way the game will be alive for another year and a half without major updates. That's basically the issue. Blizzard have been working on Overwatch 2, and while Overwatch 1 has still had a trickle of new stuff, it is nowhere near the level of support that people would expect. And for a whole bunch of people, there's a lot of other games they can play where there is a lot more support. Now, not that Apex Legends is a direct competitor with Overwatch, but certainly for an Apex player, you're getting new stuff on the monthly. Not so with Overwatch. Now, this is all weird because in the Q2 earnings call, they said that Overwatch 2 passed a important internal milestone, and that the team is, you know, excited to show off more in the coming months as it enters the later stages of production. Then, of course, we had that there was some buzz from the Overwatch 2 PvP reveal. You know, we had the New York map reveal, all that stuff was going on, and then we see this leak, which really is quite strange. I mean, if it is 2023, then what the hell are they going to do with Overwatch 1? It seems kind of insane that they have, I suppose, not expanded their team to the point where they can decently manage Overwatch 1 and the development of 2 at the same time. Very bizarre. Now, where it gets even more weird is Naz here, who said, Overwatch 2 update. I've heard from multiple people close to my original source with Overwatch 2 that development hasn't worked in Overwatch 2 in 3 months. I hope this is false and I'm proven wrong. Which is deeply confusing because, to be honest with you, it makes no sense. What are you doing with the development team? Surely they're going to be developing. The previous leak is just saying that development is a bit slower than expected, which absolutely lines up with, I think, what we can tell. But that nothing's happened for 3 months, that doesn't make any sense to me. Now, Naz here is the general manager for Noble, who are an esports org. If you go onto their Twitter, you know, they've got 70k. They're not the biggest esports org in the world, absolutely, but they're an esports org. So this is somebody sort of floating within the industry saying this. So, to be honest with you, I think it's very unlikely that that is the case, because it just seems so completely insane that that would be the case. But I wouldn't doubt that Overwatch 2 development is behind schedule. As for it missing 2022, I mean, I don't know. Matt, what do you think? I couldn't even give you a percentage on whether I think that's true or not.
It can't really be true. The idea that they're not working on it can't be true.
I think that's...
They're definitely working on it. So I'd love to know, like, the flavor of that. Yeah. Because there's no way it's just, you know, everyone's sitting around going, should we do any work today? Nah, it's alright. When did we last do work? 80-something days ago? Fuck it. We'll keep waiting. I don't think that's in any, like, capacity reasonable. Like, you could technically argue that maybe they've had a massive shift in priority and, you know, a lot of those devs are moving elsewhere. But I feel like we would have heard from that in and around this with all of the other Blizzard news breaking. Yeah, you would imagine someone in the Overwatch team would have, you know, slid a DM to Jason going, by the way, I remember all of the Toys for Bob people were moved to Overwatch 2. Yeah, they've all been moved to Diablo. You know, you would hear something like that. Yeah. So I don't think that, like, I can't imagine a world where that's true unless the development hasn't worked on Overwatch 2 in 3 months, technically coming from, like, there's been no meaningful progress.
Could be that.
Which could be from the idea of... Because I'm trying to think, how the fuck does Overwatch 2 take years to develop?
Soft reboots, hard reboots, soft C boots, everything.
Yeah. How do you possibly take years to make an expansion pack? So 2016, a couple of years of proper expansions and stuff, and then a gap of like 3-4 years. How does that make sense? And the only thing I actually have is, like, in my head is, it must be an issue with direction. It must be an issue with defining what Overwatch 2 is, and they just don't have a clear end point for when it's done.
Kaplan's gone. There's a little bit of me that wonders, was there a soft reboot at some stage?
Definitely.
It's like what you said. The only way where I think this tweet could be true is if most of their production staff were not on Overwatch 2, because you can't really do that when you're in pre-production for a redesign or a reboot, in which case those staff may be doing something else. So if that's the way that this is, I think, not really likely to be true as presented there, but it totally could be that a reboot happened, and that meant that for a period of time, core development staff weren't doing things. Now, even that's kind of surprising to me. Either way, it doesn't seem ideal.
Yeah, I mean, that could lead into the fact that it's jumping from 2022 to possibly 2023. Is not 3 months of no work, but 3 months of wasted work. 3 months of work that were like, this isn't in scope for this anymore. Throw it out. Which could come from them having to rush it. Which, obviously, trying to rush it and then it coming out later as a result sounds insane. But, I mean, think back to Warcraft 3 Reforged, where they had all of the work done for the voiceover, for the script. They had all that stuff sorted, and then they went, sorry, we don't have the extra resources to allocate to make this happen, so throw it out. Is it the case where this has happened, and now all of the changing of the moving of the goalposts in terms of what Overwatch 2 is as an expansion? Because, because I don't think it's ever been like, I mean, obviously that's said what they're going to have. They're going to have their PvP changes, they're going to have PvE, they're going to have that stuff in there, but it's still, as far as, evidence to what they're doing, I don't think there's enough evidence to prove that they've been working on this for years and years and years at this point.
I think one thing that we should probably take into account is that Overwatch 2 is running on a custom engine, and that is a custom engine made for basically an arena shooter.
Yeah.
Not really an arena shooter, you know what I mean, right? Like, it was made for a tightly scoped game. Well, is it just the case that they have shit tools? Like, is this a Frostbite-like situation where you're trying to move this engine out from its core competency and just sucks up resources, sucks up time?
Yeah, well, that would absolutely explain why they haven't seemed to move too far out of the box of what's originally worked. I feel like from the transition to Overwatch from Project Titan must have been really harsh, and they must have really just got it to just working no more. Because, well, it does feel incredible to play. Oh, that's for sure. It is a remarkable game in that sense. But with the lack of tools and maybe the lack of flexibility in engine, then you could see why it would take them years to develop PvE, because they have to redevelop parts of the game.
Yeah.
And then that would also explain why taking all of the resources from Toys for Bob didn't result in, we've just cut our development time in half because we've applied twice the resources. Not that that's ever realistic anyway, but it would explain why, you've got all these extra developers, all these developers who, by all accounts are talented and, have experience. But then they come in, they're like, well, we're going to need months to warm up to how you do things here, which is, something similar that happened, or that we believe happens in the Warcraft team.
Yes. What was many people's impression of Overwatch 2 at that BlizzCon? Basically, this is an expansion pack that you are putting 2 on so you can sell another copy.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it came off as to me, which, does make all this feel weird. I think we just have to assume some form of soft reboot or something has went on, because, man, what the fuck? Basically.
I mean, I think that might be the story across all of Blizzard at this point, because Diablo 4 went through reboots.
It did.
Not sure about World of Warcraft, if that ever had anything like that happen. You can see there's some direction issues, but I think that's more internal versus external opinion. But then, you've got Warcraft 3 Reforged not having a clear direction. You've got Heroes of the Storm esports been stopped at the last second, or just out of the blue.
Yeah.
You've got all these things that seems like organizational disarray, which doesn't make for clean and smooth production. And you could see how Overwatch 2, you know, oh yeah, when did they decide to add PvE? Have they changed scope drastically up or down?
It's just insane to me that the game that really is Blizzard's way out of their current problem.
Yep.
That said, there's every chance it could come out in 2022, and this is based on old information.
Of course.
We just don't know yet, but it is weird that this is happening from, I guess, at least one person who's been reputable with their leaks in the past. So, bit of a rough spot for Blizzard. I certainly hope Overwatch comes out in 2022 and is a brilliant game, because I would like to play that. And also, it would be nice for the employees to actually have a decent bonus some year, because good times perpetually have been around the corner, and let's hope it's not another year. That's it for us. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will see you next time.